couple of weeks ago, I finished my message talking about whenever you're practicing the way of Jesus, well then you will choose to forgive and you will choose to believe the best of those who don't necessarily agree with your stuff. You know, sometimes I think we have more identity in our opinions and our preferences than we do in the King and his kingdom. See, so we need to do what's right in his eyes. Right? And see, that actually is practicing the way of Jesus. Now, you could be sitting here this morning, you could be thinking that, well, my preferences, my beliefs, or whatever, it may be the way of Jesus. Well, you know what? That's okay. That's fine. But then, are you walking on that path in the way of Jesus? Which means forgiving, showing kindness to those who don't agree with you, showing compassion to those who don't see things the way that you see, having forgiveness in your heart to others. You see, if we trust more in the ways of this world than in the ways of the kingdom, let me tell you something, that is not practicing the way of Jesus. Are you with me on that? I mean, seriously, if you're getting all offended by anything that was just said, well then, even that's okay. But practice the way of Jesus. Well, what is the way of Jesus? In other words, what is the way of Jesus after an offense? It's forgiveness, right? And so how can you get offended when all we're saying is that do what's right in his eyes? Not in your eyes, but do what's right in God's eyes. So all I'm saying is that if you're getting all worked out over all this stuff, then I'm not saying follow the way of Rick. I'm saying follow the way of Jesus. See, I don't want to do what's right in my eyes, I don't want to do what's right in the world's eyes. I want to do what's right in the King's eyes. See, I've talked to people actually concerning this subject, and let me back up. I've actually talked to Christians concerning this subject. And they'll say, well, Rick, well, it's my life. I can do what I want. Well, no, it's not. No, you can't. Look what it says over in 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 19 and 20. It says, do you realize that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit who lives in you and was given to you by God? Verse 20, you do not belong to yourself, for God bought you with a high price. See, you actually don't own your own life as a follower of Jesus anymore. See, the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus was bought and paid for with a high price. So you're now included with Jesus. You're now a part of the bride of Christ. You're now a part of the kingdom of God. So you don't get the right to decide the direction of your life anymore. See, that's called practicing. When you belong to him, then you are actually practicing the way of Jesus. See, that's why Jesus says over in Luke 6 and 46, he says, why do you call me Lord, Lord, and do not do what I say? Man, let me tell you what, man, that's a great question. Lord. leader, authority, master, ruler, king. Why do you call me Lord and still do what's right in your own eyes? Do you realize that that is practical atheism? It really is. It's practical atheism, which I hope that none of you actually acknowledge that that's where you live. But here's the thing. But if I know what he says, and then I still choose to do what's right in my eyes, then I actually believe, I live like I believe that God doesn't exist. That's practical atheism. You know, here's one thing that we need to understand. God doesn't tell you what to do because he wants to control you. He's a good shepherd, and he wants to lead you into green pastures. He's the light, and he wants to lead you out of the darkness. So see, that's the ancient path in the modern world. And as much as we would like to think that there is a way that seems right unto man, but in the end it leads to death. It does. You see, there's a lot of things that you and I, we really love, we really love it. But in all actuality, a lot of those things actually navigate us down the road of destruction. Think of this for a moment. Think of a map app. If you have a smartphone, you have a map app. It comes with one, or else you can download your own, a map app. What you do is you pull that thing out, and you can program your stuff into there, and it will give you directions where you want to go. It's really a pretty cool, fascinating gadget. But what it does, it takes all of the lifetime information of traffic, construction, weather. It takes all of that in lifetime. In other words, when it's happening right in the moment. And it pulls all that stuff together, and then it will give you one of those blue lines that tells you this is the best way to get to where you want to go. Now, there's two types of people. There's people like Tammy. Tammy will open that thing up, program her stuff into there, hit the green button. She will just go. And then there's people like me. I'll put my stuff in there, I'll open it up, put all my information, I'll hit that stuff, and when I'm looking at it, I am convinced that there is still a better way to get than what that blue line offers me. Apparently, I'm not the only one. Okay, think of this now. Think of God. God knows everything about you. He knows your circumstances and your situations. He has all of the lifetime information of everything that you don't have access to. He knows why you were created. What your plans and purposes are for. He knows what your destiny is. He knows where he is ultimately trying to get you to go. And when he gives you that little blue line, the ancient path, sometimes it looks like the longest, hardest, most difficult way forward. You know why? Because it is. The ancient path is the greatest resistance. But there's personal holiness in it. And so really the only question is do you trust him? Do you trust him enough or not to press that green button and follow? You remember the story of Peter whenever he fished all night and didn't catch anything? And Jesus comes along, he gets in Peter's boat, kind of pushes himself out on the shore there, and he preaches to the crowd. And when he's through preaching to the crowd, he looks at Peter and he says, Peter, I want you to get in your boat and launch out into the deep. And when you get out there, throw your nets over. And when you pull your nets back, there's going to be a great catch of fish. And Peter is like, man, we just fished all night and didn't catch a thing. In fact, we've already cleaned everything up. We've put everything away already. Jesus, wait a minute. You're just a carpenter. You don't know anything about fishing. But then he says, but if you say so. If you say so, I will do it. Peter launches out into the deep in the middle of the day, throws his nets over the side, and when he pulls the nets in, his catch of fish is so great that it's literally breaking the nets. Jesus looks at him. And he doesn't condemn them. He doesn't say, I told you so. He doesn't make fun of them. He doesn't put them down. Doesn't make them feel like he's only that small. And he says, Peter, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You know, because now you're no longer going to fish for fish, but you're going to fish for men. See, that's practicing Jesus. That's the way of Jesus. If you say so, Lord, if you say so, I don't like it. I don't understand it. It's really uncomfortable for me. It's really inconvenient. Everybody's going to make fun of me. No one's going to understand it. I don't have the finances. I don't have the ability. It looks foolish. But if you say so, if you say so, I will do it.
I can't walk away.
Because I want to be where you are. I want to be near your heart. Sometimes I think, sometimes I just feel like I don't really mean to, but sometimes I just feel like I don't really want to take advantage of Jesus. I don't want to take advantage of his goodness to me. But sometimes I just get so used to just kind of like being around him that I don't realize sometimes who Jesus really is. I see him do stuff. I can feel his presence. But I catch myself saying, like, I just make all these excuses like, oh, okay, God, well, that's for them, that's not for me. Oh, I'll let them do it, not me. Okay, God, I don't know about talking to somebody about you in a crowd. I don't know about that. I'm going to look kind of foolish. I just don't know about all that stuff. See, sometimes I do that. And what happens is I forget who he really is. That's why every once in a while I got to stop myself and I got to say, when he's asking me all these things and all he's just doing is that he's just trying to motivate me, trying to push me for his kingdom. I realize he's doing all that stuff, but sometimes I just get so used to him that every once in a while he will do that, and I just got to stop what I'm doing. And I just got to say, if you say so, Lord, because I just want to be in your presence. I want to be where you are. I just want to be near you. I want to be near your heart. Stand with me. And right now, there's probably things the Lord has been kind of dealing with you about. Maybe just something so casual. Maybe God's not telling you to build the Empire State Building. You don't know whether to do it or not. I'm not talking about that. How about just those little bitty things? How about when God speaks to you and he says, I need you to do something for you. Oh, that's what I don't know. What if he's asking you to do something? I want you to close your eyes and I want you to think about it. You see, I don't know your life. I don't know how God talks to you. I don't know what God is saying to you here lately. Maybe there's something that God spoke to you even years ago. And all of a sudden, right now, you realize right in this moment, I realize who you really are, Jesus. And you're speaking to me. Maybe some of us just really need to step back and take a real hard look who Jesus really is in my life. Is my serving him really about me? Or is it really about doing what he wants? See, because whenever you can say in your heart, because you say so, Lord, I will do it. You know what you're doing? You're actually positioning yourself for your destiny. You are positioning yourself for supernatural breakthroughs. You are positioning yourself for divine insight and supernatural wisdom and supernatural solutions that can only come from heaven. You see, when Peter said, if you say so, look what happened. He doubted everything. He made every excuse that was in the world and not have to go after it because he thought it was futile. Sometimes we think it's you, I don't know about that. Things ain't lining up just right. I just don't know. I 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 don't know. But God, if you say so, what is God speaking to you this morning?